Hello everyone, it's Oliver G here from the Eiffel Tower podcast, all about Paris. Currently talking about the lockdown, which is affecting everyone in Paris and in France, and likely it's probably affecting you wherever you are in the world right now. If you haven't been listening for a while, I've taken a break from the usual shows to sort of cover what life is like in Paris under lockdown. And recently I was talking to a friend of mine, back and forthing via text. And he said, yeah, well, I've got the virus. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, it's been quite serious. Seeming my girlfriend is pregnant and we didn't know how it would affect her and the unborn child. I said, David, stop right there. I'd really like to record this conversation. I think it's important, interesting. I think you'll have insights that other people don't have. And so I called him up, and this is a conversation with me and him from confinement, quarantine really, on the other side of Paris, and me in lockdown in Montmartre. I just want to say a few facts about the conversation before we get into it. Firstly, there's a point where he says 39 degrees Celsius as his temperature, and we didn't know what it was in Fahrenheit. I've got it in front of me here. It's 102.2 degrees Fahrenheit. The other thing, it's kind of a funny one, and I think it's a translation thing, but David kind of switches between girlfriend and wife when he's talking about his girlfriend, but rest assured he's talking about the same person. And lastly, David's one of the most positive people in Paris, and I try and be extremely positive too, so we're not making light of things really, but as with everything I've been doing lately, I'm trying to do it with a smile, so expect a few jokes in there, especially from David, who's been having it pretty tough, but has a pretty, a pretty good smile on his face throughout. And I'll warn you that about 3/4 of the way through, you might be in for a treat as I try and convince him to do his famous bagpipe impersonation. If that doesn't put a smile on your face, nothing will. Now, just a few more facts. David, 45-year-old guy from Brittany, stuck in Paris. They're his own words. Really healthy guy, and yeah, I mean, it just goes to show that anyone can get this thing, and that we have to be careful. So I'll leave it to him to explain more. Here it is, the Eiffel Tower. Me, David, talking about his case of coronavirus. Thanks for listening. Let's get into it. David, may I call you David, or do you prefer David?
David. Please.
David.
Hello, Oliver.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm better. Feeling much better.
Well, usually when I say to somebody, how are you, I don't really, look for an in-depth answer. But for the first time, I really want to know exactly how you're feeling.
So I'm feeling good. I am good, yeah.
Okay. So I'm glad to hear. I mean, you had a few coughs when we started speaking. But
yeah.
Is that like a leftover now?
No. Actually, it's what is left of of the virus, and I think it's gonna last for a few more days, according to the doctors.
Okay, so let's talk it through from the beginning. Exactly what happened. I mean, a lot of people listening will be in countries abroad, in Australia and America, where this is still the news is still coming out, and they don't really understand it. Tell me everything that happened when you started thinking you were sick. What happened?
So a few weeks ago, I was young and crazy. It was, to be exact, it was on a Saturday. I went out with my friend. It was the 7th of March. So that's about 3 weeks ago, something like this. And we went out in pubs, restaurants. We had a big night. And at the time, to be honest, it was just 2 weeks ago. But I I was not thinking at all about the virus. Like most of the people in France just 3 weeks ago. So we went out, get back home about, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And then the next day, I was recovering, I was sick, but I was I had a headache, but not because of the virus, of course. And for 4 days, I was kind of fine. I was pretty okay. 4 days after I went out on the Saturday, I started to feel a pain on my chest. It was like my chest was starting to burn, my lungs were burning.
So this is, let me just get this right. This is 11th of March, so 4 days
Yeah,
after you went
exactly.
out. Okay,
4 days
right.
afterwards. And the day after, it was on the Thursday, I had to go to London. So I woke up very early in the morning, about at 5 o'clock or something like that. I was feeling very not good at all, but just because I didn't sleep very well and it was waking up at 5 o'clock. So I just arrived in London and I had a 3 hours meeting where I had to talk for 3 hours nonstop. And I didn't feel good at all after the meeting. I was sweating, feeling cold, feeling hot. I asked my friends, the people I was working with, to turn off the aircon, then to turn it on. And I was sweating. And then I thought to myself, okay, I think there is something wrong with me.
Right.
I was supposed to have another meeting in the afternoon, and I decided to book my Eurostar, my train back to Paris, and then I went back to Paris. And to be honest with you, for 3 hours in the train, I didn't feel good at all. I was trying to be isolated. I was not talking to people. I was on my chair and just I slept for 3 hours, but it was not good. I was not feeling good. So I just arrived in Paris on Thursday. It was 5 p.m., something like that. I arrived at Gare du Nord. Then I took the tube, the metro, and then I decided not to go back home because you know that, Oliver, my girlfriend, she's pregnant, and I went straight away to the chemist.
Okay, but I want to pause you, David. I want to pause you
Yeah.
for a second. At this point, so we're talking 11th, 12th of March or something here.
Yeah.
I can't remember myself. Was everyone already talking about the coronavirus?
Kind of.
Was it in?
Kind of.
Right.
We're talking about it. We knew that the situation was very bad in Italy, but still the people were outside partying, having fun. So it was not like it is now. So, but I knew, yes, I knew the symptoms. So that's why I decided, instead of going back home, I decided to go to the chemist straight away. I asked the chemist if he were able to take my fever, temperature, and he said no, for some reason. So I bought how do you call
A thermometer.
Yeah.
Everybody at home, I can see David, and
Yeah.
he just did a very elaborate gesticulation of what a thermometer is. I don't know where you were inserting it in your.
So yeah, and then I had to take my temperature somewhere. So I decided to stay in the corridor of my residence, and then I took my temperature, and then I found out that I had 39 degrees, which is in Fahrenheit. I don't know how much is it in Fahrenheit, but
It's too high to be safe,
yeah.
essentially.
So and then what I decided to do, not to go back home again, I decided to call the emergency. We have a number in France, 15, that you can call, and then let's tell you what to do. So I was on the phone waiting for about 3 hours, because even at the time, I don't know how many cases we had at the time 3 weeks ago, but they were starting to have a lot of calls of people like me having the symptom. So after 3 hours on the phone, waiting on the phone, I had a doctor. And then she explained me that I have all the symptoms, and that now I don't have to go to the doctors. I don't have to go to the hospital. I just have to go back home, buy some paracetamol, and stay at home for 14 days.
Right.
So I'm lucky we have two bedroom flats. So I stay in my bedroom while my wife she's staying in her bedroom, and so that was on the Thursday the 12th, and that was the first day of confinement for me.
And just to confirm for listeners at home, when you say wife and when you say girlfriend, it's the same person.
Yeah, it's the same person.
It's not like you've got.
Yeah, we are not married, but she's my wife, but she's not properly my wife. Sorry.
What about when we were texting before, you suggested that your wife and your
sorry,
bless you, your wife and your unborn child are safe. How do you know that?
I know it because the doctors told me that. My girlfriend, she's followed, of course, by doctors, and that what they say, that at least what they know, that the first two trimester,
Yeah.
the baby is gonna be fine for sure. Maybe there is some issues the last 2 months of the pregnancy, but even that they are not quite sure about it. You have currently babies, new baby born, and they are fine even if the woman got the virus. So that's what they told us. Of course, we have to be careful. I'm not talking to my wife for now almost 3 weeks. Or I'm talking. We have this 2 meters distance when we talk. We're not going in the same rooms. When we touch something, we clean it. I tell you, my flat is super clean.
Yeah. And you're looking very clean yourself. Like
I'm super
clean shaven. You got your hair. Is this just for me, or are you doing?
No, because I still have to work. So we're doing a lot of conf call. So of course I have to try to shave and to pretend I'm not sick.
Wow. Okay. Now I've got a lot of questions for you. One of them is how bad has this illness been for you? Like after you got home from talking to the doctor. What did you get worse or?
So basically, I felt very bad for about 2 days with high fever. I took some paracetamol, about 5 a day, during 2 days, and then the temperature went down. The third day, I didn't have any more temperature, but I was coughing with a pain, still having a pain on my chest, like if my lung were burning. And I still cough now. It's getting much better. And according to the doctors, the cough could last from 2 weeks to 4 weeks. But I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad anymore, for sure.
Have you felt that it's been progressively getting better?
Yes, I've been progressively getting better. Of course, I've been bad for just 2 or 3 days and progressively getting much better.
So, I want to know if when it was at its worst and you knew that there was a lot of talk about this virus.
We was on the very first day when I came back from London.
Yeah, but were you scared and worried?
I was scared when it's bad what I'm gonna say. I was scared when I was stuck in London, and I've been living in London for a while. I'm sorry to say that, but I know that the state of their NHS and hospital is not as good as maybe what we do have in continental Europe. So I just didn't want to be stuck in UK. Right. And that's why I booked my train ticket quick to make sure that I will go back to France. And I didn't want to be stuck in the UK and to be in quarantine in UK as well, because,
I think, so speaking of things that are a little bit difficult, this might be a difficult question, but do you feel like any kind of guilt that you went to the UK knowing that you were feeling a bit sick? Actually,
when I wake up on Thursday at 5 p.m., I was not sick. I was feeling tired. And I said to myself, okay, I am tired because it's 5 in the morning, but until I arrived in London and I started to have my meeting, because the fever went up, but in just within 1 hour or 2 hours, I believe. Until then, I didn't really know. I didn't know at all that I was going to be sick. When I left Paris, so that's why I didn't feel guilty. What I felt bad a little bit is when I was in the train back to Paris, because many people, I was not close to people. I was trying to keep this 2 meters distance. But I knew that I was sick. I didn't want to say anybody. I stayed in my corner alone. But yes, maybe at the time I was feeling a bit guilty, and I didn't want, of course, to talk to people, and I was like staying alone.
Which must have been hard for you, because you are, I've said it before to you, I believe, you are one of the most talkative people
I am.
on planet Earth, which I think is a great thing. I mean, I think it's wonderful. You talk to everybody, but it must have been especially hard for you these past 10 days.
This is very right. And a friend of mine called me just a week ago. He called me because he said, if someone has to catch the virus, it's you, David, because you are talking all the time to anybody.
Yeah.
So yes,
What about? Do you think? Who do you know who you think you got it from?
I was with my friend Chris, and we, I know the night we went out, we talked to Italian people, we talked to people from Belgium as well, and we talked to many people, and we were shaking hands as like we did before, and so it's difficult to say because we talked to many people that night. So no, what I know is my friend got it as well. Chris, he's got the same symptom. He had bad pneumonia, him at the same time, pneumonia. So his condition was worse than mine at the beginning, but now he's very fine. He doesn't have any.
So how did you guys text between you? Did you go, "Hey Chris, I've got it. You should get tested"?
To be honest with you, it's crazy because I think I sent him a message just maybe 3 or 4 days later, just after on the Thursday. You see, we went out on the 7th of March, and I think I sent him a message maybe the 13th of March. So 3 days after I had my fever, because I didn't even think about that. I didn't remember that we went out together or that. Right. I couldn't think about it. It's my wife who said to me, "Hey, David, I think you, because the how do you call that, the period of it takes to get
incubation period."
Yeah, incubation period. That's it. It is between 3 or 5 days. So that's my wife said to me, "David, I think you took it. You got it from your night out with Chris on Saturday." That's how. I said, yeah, maybe I have to call him. And then when I text him and call him, and said to me, yes, I had to leave. He had to leave his job during the night. He's working he's a concierge in a nice hotel in Paris. He has to leave his job during the night to go back home because he was feeling a high fever. Yeah.
It's interesting to think about how, like, a job like his, where he would meet a lot of people and probably shake a lot of hands, it's interesting to think how it spreads. I want to go back to something else you said. You mentioned how the British NHS isn't fantastic, but the French healthcare, as many people know, is among the best in the world. How do you feel about how the French healthcare system has taken care of you or not?
I think my case is not critical. So I think they did what they had to do. I mean, I don't have to go to the hospital because you have more critical cases, people really sick, and they have to take care of those people, people up 60, that's what they say, is more critical. So for my case, I think what they have done is good. Even what I know, that's my lung, it's taking time to recover. And I'm sure if I had taken maybe some antibiotics, for instance, maybe I would have felt better now. But it's not a big deal, I will recover. I recovered already, so I think they did what they had to do. And then to judge what they are doing now, I think they are doing a fantastic job. Unfortunately, they are not enough, and I think that because it's difficult to imagine, nobody could imagine this virus, But what I know, it's. Most of the government now, this is a case everywhere in Europe and even in the US, they are cutting the credit for hospital. I hope this is going to change, I hope instead of putting the money, I don't know where, but this is a critical, that's the hospital and the medicine, they have enough funds to be able to cure people in such cases,
Do you count as one of the cases in France?
No, I don't count, because in France, the strategy from the beginning was to keep the test for the people with critical conditions. Right. So for now, I'm not. There are, I think what they try to do now is to create a new test to be able to test many people and to also test people like me, to find out if I am cured and if I am creating antibodies. Because they say that if you take it, according to the scientists, you cannot have it twice. Right. So, and I am creating antibodies, that's what they said. But I must be tested to make sure that I won't be able to have it again,
Are you worried that after the 14-day period, that when you go to your girlfriend slash wife again, are you worried that 14 days?
I am a bit worried because it's just in 4 days, and I know I will not touch her until my cough is not over. And for now, it's not the case. So I don't, even talking to people, that's what they say, even if you don't cough, when you talk to people and you are just 50, I mean, half meter distance, you are spitting without knowing it. But so you have to be very careful. So she has been tested, as I said, 3 or 4 days ago. She's negative. She doesn't have the virus.
But she had a proper test, like
proper test, yes, because she's pregnant. So they do test pregnant women. Yeah, but yes, I am a bit worried, and I'm sure I will stay in my bed until I stop coughing.
Okay, let's start winding things up now. I want to know, firstly, if you have any tips for staying sane when you're in one bedroom for 14 days.
I'm lucky. I play the guitar, and I love that. So I'm happy to have my 2 guitars with me in my room. Because to be honest with you, especially during the week is fine because I'm working. I'm still busy working, but during the weekend, I'm lucky to play the guitar to keep me busy. Because otherwise I will turn crazy. And I have a balcony as well. And I'm so lucky to have a balcony. I have a big balcony with a nice garden in front of me. So I walk, I do some sport every morning. I do some sport. I cannot go for jogging, but I do some sport.
Yeah. What do you do?
I do some push-up. I can do 5 now.
Have you got a chair there so you can play the bagpipes?
No, I don't. I can. I have to show you that. You have to take a picture to show it to you.
For everybody at home, I'm referring to David's. So David is from Brittany, and he has a famous impression of a bagpipe player by holding a chair upside down on his shoulder and tapping on his neck to make it sound like I don't know. Can you? Maybe I won't get you to do it.
Okay. Do you want that? Close your eyes.
Yeah.
Close your eyes.
Wait. So wait. Let me explain it to everyone at home. Imagine that you've got David in a pub full of people. Out of nowhere, he'll pick up a chair so the 4 legs are pointing up into the air, hoist it on his shoulder, and say, "Everybody ready? Here's the bagpipes." And then this is what he does.
Hold on. Sorry, you're laughing, Oliver. I cannot do the pipe.
I should be more serious about everything.
Okay, again. That's it.
That was wonderful. I hope that was all right on your throat and your lungs, but I think you're recovering. I want to say also, when we were texting before, you saw that I was outside, and you texted me. You said, "Stay inside, don't go outside." Is that something you've been telling other people, seeming you've gone through this, or have you got advice for people, or?
I had to go to the chemist 2 or 3 days ago, and I was so surprised to see the number of people out in the street, and especially elderly people, old people, and I was very surprised by that. And then when I talked to the chemist, he told me that it's gonna be a big mess because people, even now, old people, young people, they don't care. They don't care about what we do say to them, what the government, they are telling them to stay at home, but they don't care. And it's funny, the population is the young people. The young, they won't be sick. Most of the young people, they won't be sick. But the old people, I was so surprised to see that they don't really care. They are out to do nothing. And so, that's what, the best thing to do to avoid the virus is to stay at home. That's it. I know it's a pain, but for everybody. But the only thing you have to do is to stay at home. So it's not. It's difficult, but it's easy to do for everybody, I believe.
There you go, guys. They're the words of David, who has been through the coronavirus and is coming out to the other side. I want to finish on a happy story, David. I think I mentioned you on the podcast fairly recently. Do you remember, I told the story, you probably won't remember it, but something that I like about you. One time we were all sitting around a table at an Irish pub, and I think people were speaking French, and I made an effort to use a French expression. And in the middle of the conversation, I said, "Ça me fait une belle jambe."
Oui.
Right? Yeah. You remember this?
Yeah.
And you stood up from across the table, walked around, kissed me on the cheek, and said something like, "Thank you for learning the language properly," or something like that.
Yeah, I'm very impressed especially by the French expression that you know.
I love though that you're so supportive of people like me trying to learn your language. So thank you for that. And
no, but you do well. It's a lot of effort because it's not easy. The French language is not easy. So
no, neither is playing the bagpipes. But I'll start learning that on my own isolation at the moment. But look, get well soon, and
thank you.
Good luck in a couple days of being able to talk to your family again. And thanks for sharing your story with us.
Take care, Oliver, and stay at home. Bye.
Well, there you go. That was David talking about his own case of the virus. Pretty positive chap, as I promised you, and as I've been. Usually this is where I'd say you can go and find David stuff here and there, but he's not promoting anything. He was just sharing his story with us, so thank you, David. What I will do, though, is I'll tell you, if you fancy, if you're bored, if you're stuck at home and you're looking for something to do, well, you've already missed the pub quiz that I did, all about Paris. But by popular demand, I think I can get away with saying popular demand. I've been getting a lot of emails about it. I'll be doing another one. So the first one, if you missed it, I think it was 130 people watching a live YouTube video that I did with my wife from our living room with questions I'd written about Paris. There were 40 questions to be won. A woman named Melinda with very neat handwriting. She proved that she won. She got 31 correct. And she won a prize. She'd already ordered my book, theeiffeltower.com/memoir, but she chose to get one of Lena's lovely prints of Paris. So that's what she got. So these are the things that we're doing. YouTube, go and check me out there. I'll be doing another one soon. A lot of requests to do questions about food. So I'll be looking into that too. As usual, I'll just mention that this show and everything I'm doing is only happening thanks to the generosity of the members on Patreon, patreon.com/the-Eiffel-Tower. There'll be a lot more bonuses coming really soon, the most soon of which will be I'll be releasing my book, the Paris on Air memoir. I'll be releasing it on Patreon as an audiobook as I record it from lockdown every day at the same time. I haven't figured out when yet, but that's going to keep us going. So if you haven't signed up yet, now is the time. Anyway, stay safe out there, guys. Listen to the advice that David gave, and I'll see you again with a new episode very soon. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.